And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. So I let go of my fear of judgment, of being misunderstood, of getting attacked by the left, and I put the red hat on too. Thank you. Love you too. I never felt more free and more love for my country than I do now. I want to thank my father, who's in the audience tonight, for opening my eyes. He served over 20 years in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service, Dad. Yeah. I love you, Dad. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you. When I met the president and Melania for the first time, he was kind and generous and funny as hell. Very funny. The First Lady was gracious and smart with a smile that will brighten up any room. If you're watching this tonight, you know our country is in trouble. Just like me. When you go to the store and buy food for your family, you're shocked. When you fill up your gas tank, you're pissed. I know I am. And when you turn on the news, you are just exhausted. Inflation is out of control. And you know in your heart it was not like this under Donald Trump. My message to you tonight comes from a humble place. The left told me to hate Trump, and even worse, to hate the other side, the people who support him. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to put money back in our pockets and good food on our kids' plates. Yes. Or, as Trump would say, it's a vote to make America great again. Thank you so much. Thank
you. Won't be taken for granted. And this time, I won't regret it. Please join me in voting for Donald J. Trump.
Please welcome the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Sean O'Brien.
Greetings, delegates and guests. I'm Sean O'Brien, General President of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. I'd like to give my peeps from the greatest state in the nation, Massachusetts, some props. What's up? First, I want to thank the hardworking Teamsters and union members here in Milwaukee who play vital roles in the building and operations of this convention. I also want to thank President Donald Trump for opening the RNC's doors to the Teamsters Union and inviting me to speak before you tonight. I travel all across this country and meet with my members every week. You know what I see? An American worker being taken for granted. Workers being sold out to big banks, big tech, corporates, and the elite. And I'm not the only one who sees this. Everyday families see it. The American people aren't stupid. They know the system is broken. We all know how Washington is run. Working people have no chance of winning this fight. That's why I'm here today.
Head of the
Because I
Teamsters.
refuse to keep doing the same things my predecessors did.
That's big. Amber Rose was the one before this. Or just now.
Today, the Teamsters are here to say we are not beholden to anyone or any party. We will create an agenda and work with a bipartisan coalition ready to accomplish something real for the American worker. And I don't care about getting criticized. It's an honor to be the first Teamster in our 121-year history to address the Republican National Convention.
That's insane. I'm telling you, I just have to stay alive.
Several months ago, I asked the RNC and the DNC for the opportunity to speak. To be frank, when President Trump invited me to speak at this convention, there was political unrest on the left and on the right.
Here.
Hard to believe. Anti-union groups demanded the president rescind his invitation. The left called me a traitor. And this is precisely why it's so important for me to be here today. Think about this. Think about this. The Teamsters are doing something correct. If the extremes in both parties think I shouldn't be on this stage. President Trump had the backbone to open the doors to this Republican convention, and that's unprecedented. No other nominee in the race would have invited the Teamsters into this arena. Now, you can have whatever opinion you want, but one thing is clear. President Trump is a candidate who is not afraid of hearing from new, loud, and often critical voices. And I think we all can agree, whether people like him or they don't like him, in light of what happened to him on Saturday, he has proven to be one tough SOB. Now, when I won the presidency of the Teamsters in a national election 2.5 years ago, we started reaching across the aisle. In the past, the Teamsters have endorsed GOP candidates, including Nixon, Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. But over the last 40 years, the Republican Party has really pursued strong relationships with organized labor. There are some in the party who stand in active opposition to labor unions. This too must change. And I want to be clear. At the end of the day, the Teamsters are not interested if you have a D, R, or an I next to your name. We want to know one thing. What are you doing to help American workers? As a negotiator, I know that no window or door should ever be permanently shut. In my administration, the Teamsters reached out to 8 Republican senators who stood up for railroad Teamsters over our fight for paid sick leave. Josh Hawley was one of them. We started talking. Senator Hawley changed his position on national right to work. Then we started walking. Senator Hawley walked a Teamsters picket line in St. Louis and a UAW picket line in Wentzville, Missouri. More than that, I want to recognize Senator Hawley for his direct, relentless, and pointed questioning of corporate talking heads, lawyers, CEOs, and apologists.
Okay.
He has shown he is not willing to accept their pillaging of working people's pocketbooks. I know from a career in negotiating that you get nowhere by slamming your fist on the table. The first step is to listen. The Teamsters and the GOP may not agree on many issues, but a growing group has shown the courage to sit down and consider points of view that aren't funded by big money think tanks. Senators like J.D. Vance, Roger Marshall, and Representatives Nicole Malliotakis, Mike Lawler, and Brian Fitzpatrick are among elected officials who truly care about working people. And this group is expanding and is putting fear into those who have monopolized our very broken system in America today. There are far too many people on both sides of the aisle still caught up in knee-jerk reactions to unions, who subscribe to the same tired claptrap that unions destroy American companies. Take a moment to consider United Parcel Service, which is the largest private sector logistics company, and it's been unionized for more than 100 years. More than 350,000 Teamsters make it run. We work for good middle-class wages, quality health care, and secure pensions. There are work rules that ensure fairness and due process for both sides. UPS is the most efficient package delivery company in the world. But let's not forget that UPS doesn't provide these great wages and benefits out of the kindness of its heart. UPS does it because the Teamsters fight for it, all 350,000 of us. You know, corporatists hate when working people join together to form unions. But for a century, major employers have waged a war against labor by forming corporate unions of their own. We need to call the Chamber of Commerce and the Business Roundtables what they are. They are unions for big business. And here's another fact. Against gigantic multinational corporation, an individual worker has zero power. It's only when Americans band together in democratic unions that we win real improvements on wages, benefits, and working conditions. Companies like Amazon are bigger than most national economies. Amazon is valued over $2 trillion. That makes it the 14th largest economy in the world. What is sickening is that Amazon has abandoned any national allegiance. Amazon's sole focus is on lining its own pockets. Remember, elites have no party, elites have no nation. Their loyalty is to the balance sheet and to the stock price at the expense of the American worker.
And the government helped create those monopolies.
In my office in Washington, D.C., I can see the United States Capitol from my window. I see well-intentioned people arrive in Washington and get eaten up by an unforgiving system. The responsibility to average Americans takes a back seat. The objective now becomes survival. Fundraiser after fundraiser, corporate consultants hedge every initiative. The Hill crawls with lifers, bouncing from government jobs to corporate jobs and back again. I think we can all agree D.C. is a pretty treacherous area. Most legislation is never meant to go anywhere, and it's all talk. And in America, talk isn't cheap. It's very expensive, and it comes at the cost of our own country.
Okay.
Working people know our system is broken. The elites are not laboring on behalf of workers. There is a political caste system that prevents citizens from accessing their representatives to hold them accountable.
100%.
For a moment in time, working people in America were seen as essential. Sadly, it took a global pandemic for political and corporate elites to notice this fact. But ask yourself this question. Since the end of the pandemic, when was the last time you heard major news outlets regularly refer to workers as essential? You haven't. The men and women who provide goods and services, deliver packages, stock grocery shelves, care for patients, pick up your trash, and keep our communities safe are taken for granted. All the while, the stock market booms, housing prices hit record highs, and corporate salaries skyrocket. But the income of everyday Americans are shrinking in the face of inflation. At the gas pumps, at the grocery store, with the electrical bill, and with the car insurance. This has got to change.
Mm-hmm. All right. 2 points for the
Never
union.
forget, American workers own this nation.
That's right.
We are not renters.
Nope.
We are not tenants.
Talking to
But the
BlackRock.
corporate elite treat us like squatters, and that is a crime.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to fix it.
Okay. This is a big
Now,
deal.
this will shock you. This will shock you. To paraphrase Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, it's time for both sides of Congress to stand their butts up.
Yep. All right, let's get speaking my language.
We need trade policies that put American workers first.
Yes.
It needs to be easier for companies to remain in America. We need legal protections that make it safer for workers to get a contract. We must stop corporations from abandoning local communities to inflate their bottom line. We need meaningful bankruptcy reform. Today, corporate vultures buy up companies like Yellow Freight with the intent of driving them into bankruptcy and feasting on their remains. The courts leave workers begging for crumbs as third-tier creditors. Labor law must be reformed. Americans vote for a union but can never get a union contract.
Yep.
Companies fire workers who try to join unions and hide behind toothless laws that are meant to protect working people but are manipulated to benefit corporations. This is economic terrorism at its best. An individual cannot withstand such an assault. A fired worker cannot afford corporate delays, and these greedy employers know it. There are no consequences for the company, only the worker. We need corporate welfare reform. Under our current system, massive companies like Amazon, Uber, Lyft, and Walmart take zero responsibilities for the workers they employ. These companies offer no real health insurance, no retirement benefits, no paid leave, relying on underfunded public assistance. And who foots the bill? The individual taxpayer. The biggest recipients of welfare in this country are corporations, and this is real corruption. We must put workers first.
Okay.
What could be more important to the security of our nation than a long-term investment in the American worker? In 2021, Teamsters nationwide elected me to fight for them, and that's precisely what I'm doing. Something is wrong in this country, and we need to say it out loud. I will always speak for America and the American worker, both union and non-union.
Okay.
I challenge each and every one of you, and especially my friends on the Democratic side, to embrace cooperation, to truly collaborate, to achieve meaningful and productive change, to ensure we make this great nation in this world, the bigger, faster, and strongest nation in the entire world. I love this country. The Teamsters love this country. Our 1.3 million members move America on the roads, in the ports, on the rail, and in the air. And at the end of the day, if the powers to be stop me from raising my voice on behalf of American workers, I will not have one single regret. I still carry my commercial driver's license. I still have my place on the union seniority list. You'll find me back in Boston driving a tractor trailer, delivering equipment for Shaughnessy and Ahern, because I have the protection of a union contract that gives me the freedom to speak my mind and to fight like hell. God bless the greatest nation. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
All right, you were just listening there to Teamsters Union President Sean O'Brien,
Pause
and
this
he
quick.
acknowledged, he noted himself how unusual it is
Ah! Oh, that's great. What a freaking legend. Is there an audio problem?
Of those affected
I
by the
got it.
demonic violence
Thanks,
at
guys.
the rally on Saturday. And we pray you would send your holy angels to guard and keep President Trump from all harm and danger. Grant that we who came from many nations with many different languages may become a united people. Support us in defending our liberties, and give those to whom we have entrusted the authority of government the spirit and wisdom, that there may be justice and peace in our land. When times are prosperous, may our hearts be thankful. And in troubled times, do not let our trust in you fail. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. Amen.
For a benediction, please welcome from California National Committee woman Harmeet Dillon.
Thank you, everyone. These last 48 hours have been some of the most intense, yet most prayerful of our lives. The heinous attack on President Trump and his supporters made all of us pause and seek answers and comfort. I come from a family of Sikh immigrants. I am honored to share with you, my fellow Republicans and guests tonight, a prayer from my faith tradition practiced by over 25 million worldwide. We recite the Ardas prayer before any new endeavor, giving thanks to God and asking for his protection and help to uphold the values of humility, truth, courage, service, and justice for all. To show respect, we cover our heads when we pray.
Huh, interesting.
तू ठाकर तुम पे अरदास जियो पिंड सब तेरी रास तुम मात पिता हम
What's up with this? Is this a Hindu thing?
कोई ना
All right, that got a little strange. So, guys, closing thoughts. JD Vance. I was talking about this with people earlier today, and I progressively went from being like a 3 out of 10 excited about it at the beginning of the day to I guess like a 7 out of 10 excited about it because not because of anything that he said, but mostly because of one reaction in particular that I saw. Let's see, I think this is it. Yeah, Van Jones reacting to JD Vance.
Part of the reason that JD Vance matters isn't for these kind of short-term electoral calculations. He matters because of what he means to the Republican Party long-term. This is cementing a kind of nationalism. Yeah. Now, Trump, to your point, I agree with you. He's an instinctive, impulsive, intuitive nationalist. JD Vance is an ideological nationalist. That's a much more dangerous virus because he can polish this stuff and make it seem palatable to people. He can sell this stuff to Silicon Valley. He can sell this stuff other places. And what it does is it locks the Republican Party on a pathway that I think is dangerous for the world. Again, the Ukrainians are now in deep trouble. NATO is now in deep trouble. Trump he could have gone with a Nikki Haley and said to the world, hey, listen, I got to give stuff to my base, but I'm not going to abandon the world. This pick is a horror on the world stage. So J.D. Vance matters because Donald Trump is pointing the Republican Party in a very scary direction for the long term.
Yeah, so that is a ringing endorsement for J.D. Vance being a good person or good for what we care about in my mind, because pretty much the number one thing that I look for today is whether or not you're part of the deep state globalist swamp, and there's people like that on both sides. But one side in particular tends to root those people out, like RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, what the hell's the guy's name from Joe, drawing a blank on his name, the guy from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, and people like that tend to get kicked out of the Democrat Party because they move too far left. So point being, there's people in the swamp on both sides. I was really concerned that Trump was considering Marco Rubio. I was concerned that he was considering Tim Scott, Doug Burgum. Don't know shit about Doug Burgum, but Vance is a vehement anti-globalist. I can get on board with that, and I don't even necessarily mind what his reasons are for it. But I heard something compelling the other day in this book that I'm reading called The Committee of 300, which insane, by the way. It was a really difficult book to get a hold of, which is weird. And all the books by this author are actually really difficult to get a hold of. So something that the author mentions in this book, he's a former British intelligence officer. He says every U.S. president that has gotten assassinated, they've been in favor of canceling, eliminating free trade. Free trade meaning letting economic exchange happen in a way where other countries can undersell us if they're able to produce something more cheaply than us. So a country that has different economic circumstances, the way that like China does right now, or the way that the UK did at one point in time, if they could undersell our businesses, that's a direct threat to the health and prosperity of America, businesses and workers. So any president who's put policies in place that favors American businesses, globalists hate that. And there's this committee of 300 that seems to be the head of the snake that, we call it the deep state, we call it the globalists, but this guy makes a really compelling point that, or case that these people are the ones who are at the top of this whole thing. And it's a crazy rabbit hole to go down. But I always wondered why people like Andrew Garfield got assassinated, or McKinley got assassinated, because, we know about the Lincoln reasons and the JFK reasons. We know why they don't like Trump, but I always wondered if McKinley and Garfield were in the same camp as them, or had any like overlapping things that freaked out the powers that be. Because, call me crazy, but I don't think that these assassinations ever happened by some rogue individual. I think they always have serious power behind it. Same thing with revolutions. You need a degree of organization and planning to make things like this happen. The thing that happened with Trump, it reminds me a lot of what happened with Andrew Jackson when he was fighting the Federal Reserve. I don't know if you've ever read The Creature from Jekyll Island, but freaking epic the way it tells the story of how Andrew Jackson was fighting the Federal Reserve. I mean, talk about a vicious, like, assassination oriented, going against the powers that be type of situation. That is a direct parallel to Trump. I believe the story goes that the guy walked up to Andrew Jackson, fired twice, but the gun misfired both times, or jammed both times, and Andrew Jackson proceeded to beat the guy to death with his cane. So he's a freaking savage. And what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that the free trade thing is a plausible case to be the overlap amongst these presidents who got assassinated? Do you think, because the more you look into it, the more it seems like the number one thing for the people who run the world is limiting economic growth, limiting population growth, and implementing globalism to lead to a one world government. Because the biggest threat or biggest obstacle to a one world government, as the way I see it, is the strength of America, the economic power and the military power of America. And I mean, look how insanely durable it is. With, you can get these politicians in here who you can see they do everything in their power to weaken America's military, weaken America's economy, weaken our morale, our culture, and we're still, despite all that, we're still the most powerful force in the world. So that's a testament to our durability. And the way I see it is the reason that Agenda 21 was pushed to Agenda 2030 is because of how far back Trump's nationalist policies, how much more of a position of strength that put us in compared to the trend that we were going on. So don't let anybody convince you that the notion of nationalism is a bad thing. They try to attribute it to like white nationalism. No, it's not a freaking race thing. It's a thing about putting your country first, putting your best interest first, making sure that you have the best opportunity to have a good life, and that you don't put other countries ahead of yours. So that's the way I see it. And I'm eager and look forward to breaking down it's probably gonna be like potentially a 2-hour episode that I do. I don't know if I'm gonna do it live or pre-recorded, but this Committee of 300 book's absolutely insane. And there's another book that this guy wrote called Socialism, The Road to Slavery, and I cannot tell you how hard it is to find that book. I saw one copy of it on Amazon for like $4,000, and then I found this random book site. I think it's called like Abe Books or something, that I found one copy on for $50. I got that, and the next day it said this book's no longer available. So we'll see if that one comes in the mail. But I'm just stumbling upon this world of forbidden books. I didn't know that there were books out there that were such a threat to the system, the way that people think, that they go out of their way to just erase it from existence. So really cool stuff that's coming down the pipe. Let's see, anybody asking any questions in here? Mr. E, they'll attribute his success to stopping the Ukraine war with Putin. Right, we're American, not black, white, Asian, says Winter's Folly. Yeah, no, 100%. It's about putting our country first. It's not about, putting a race first. I don't hear anybody say that these days. They try to push this narrative of people being race oriented, but that makes me think. Before we wrap this up, I have a funny clip to show you guys. Speaking of people not putting race first.
Say President Trump.
So the hood officially has Trump's back, and I love it because they're starting to see that it's the globalists that we're fighting with. It's not each other. It's not a black and white thing like the Democrats are trying to push.
My president. the United States president. You know who I'm talking to. This can even go to Trump Jr. Hey, if you're going to continue to do these debates in these states or in these little cities, and you want some proper protection, this is just a suggestion. This is just my opinion, bro. Because you have a lot of people out there that love you. A lot, right? And it's obvious that the CIA and all these alphabet agencies don't like you. They don't want nothing to do with you. They don't want to protect you. They don't want nothing. So here's my suggestion to you, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, even Trump Jr., if you get this to your father, huh? Go to the hood. Go get you about 30 to 40, maybe 50 of them ghetto-ass motherfuckers. Excuse my French. I don't care if they white, black, right? And on the day before, you give them mugs a particular color to wear to protect you. I promise you, that won't ever happen again. Now, listen to what I'm saying. If you decide to continue to do this, and you go out here on these little stages and do all this other stuff, you go straight to the hood, man. Go get you 40 to 50 of them cats standing around on the blocks, on the corners, and you had them protect you.
I freaking love it.
I guarantee you that would have never happened. Because as paranoid as the cats in the hood are, that dude would have never got up on that roof. I promise you. Don't let these people protect you because they didn't want you out there in office in the first place. So you know what? Just a little bit of advice from a little brother from the hood. If you ever come to Washington State, you want somebody up there, man, with you to protect you, give me a call, man. Hit me up on TikTok, bro. I'll be more than happy to stand up there for you. You dig?
I dig. I freaking love that. So, they try to push the narrative of, oh, Trump's racist. Every person that says Trump's racist, I say, okay, what's he said that's racist? They say, look at Charlottesville. He said very fine people on both sides. I'm like, yeah, even freaking Snopes, one of the most liberal sources in all of the internet, says that one wasn't true. They edited the video. So, we have that. And then we also have, an abundance of people from special forces saying how this thing was ridiculous and that they will protect Trump for free. Check this out.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here to tell you why the shooting of President Donald Trump yesterday, without a doubt in my mind, was a planned and coordinated attack on the president inside our government, our local agency, or police force. Here's why. My name is Matthew Murphy, and I am a retired Green Beret, retired from the Special Forces Group, but I'm also a level 1 sniper, which means that I have graduated the highest level of training for snipers that you can do in special operations. We're trained, I'm going to avoid confidential or classified terminology, we're trained in assassinations and counter assassinations for the very reason, case in point, yesterday, the shooting of President Donald Trump. So, first of all, anywhere the president's going to go, there are teams from the Secret Service that go out days, if not weeks, if not months, before the president will ever be at that spot. And they do a site security assessment. And they do that with the local police forces and agencies to ensure that every potential security threat or vulnerability is secured and, of course, protected against. Now, this is done way before Donald Trump will ever get there, and they know every place that the president will be, and the sniper team especially is responsible for ensuring that no one can take a shot at the president. Now, that does not mean that the sniper team just sets up with their guns and scans the crowd and shoots. No, what they do, the most important thing they do pre-Donald Trump showing up, is within a 360-degree environment of that podium of the president, they ensure that there is not a place that is open that will be accessible by someone with a rifle to take a shot at the president. So they make sure those places are barricaded off, inaccessible, and heavily guarded, so there is no way you are going to get to the place where you could even shoot the president with a rifle before the president shows up. Then they scan the crowd and those places with the rifle, just in case by some miracle you do. Now, you're not going to tell me, I don't care who you are, don't listen to the media. Nonsense anyways. I think most of us know that by now. That some 20-year-old kid that looks like he played Dungeons and Dragons in his mom's basement is trained on a gun, especially a sniper rifle like that, is a registered Republican, and then can access anywhere near the vicinity of that crowd, of that event, with him not dressed in a uniform and that sniper rifle. He was wearing American flag t-shirt and pants, and he had a rifle. You're going to tell me that that kid went through all the levels of security, somehow got into the closest building to the president, then accessed the rooftop of the closest building to the president, then had the time to unpack his rifle, lay down in the prone, and then take 5 to 8 well-aimed shots at the president before he was decisively engaged by the Secret Service's counter sniper teams or a local police department. I don't know who they were. Most likely police. You're going to tell me all that happened and a 20-year-old kid did that without it being heavily planned, coordinated, and people on the inside making it happen? There's absolutely no way possible that that kid was able to get up there and take those shots at the president without a lot of internal help. So someone in that local, or some people inside that local police department, agencies, or Secret Service is compromised and is a threat to our president. So we need to stop worrying about that damn shooter and start worrying about who allowed this shit to happen. And President Trump, if you need an American to protect you who's actually good at sniping and stopping this crap, give me a call. I'll do it for free. Everybody have a good day.
Love that. That's what we need right there, is the, top 100 badass special forces snipers out there to, I mean, I don't think they need to do it for free because we're a $7 trillion federal budget. I think that, Mayorkas finally came out and said today that he's going to give Trump and RFK some Secret Service help, but I digress. And then the director of the Secret Services, this DEI chick, she was in an interview today and said that she's not going to be stepping down. So I think she's the one to really keep an eye on. But regardless, let me see some of these comments before we wrap it up tonight. Helen Kessler, I know 2 books like that, Flames After Midnight and Smith County Justice. Got offered $1,000 for my Smith Cohen. Oh, wow. I got to look into that. We're like, you can tell me any book. You tell me it's hard to get it because the powers that be don't want you to get it. I'm immediately interested. See, I saw somebody ask what the name of the book was. Crypto Carpenter asks, what's the name of the book? So the one I'm reading is called The Committee of 300, or it's called The Conspirators Hierarchy, The Committee of 300 by John Coleman. Very good. That one's not insanely hard to get. I had to wait a couple weeks to get it. I got off Amazon. And then the other one is called Socialism, The Road to Slavery. That one is nearly impossible to get. I think I ordered a copy. It let me go through the act of putting in the order, but immediately after I ordered it, it said the book's no longer available. And then there's not a trace of this thing accessible to buy anywhere aside from the $4,000 one on Amazon and the one that I was able to get. So we'll see if that comes in. It's supposed to come in like 2 weeks if it does, and it's worth its weight in gold if it does, apparently. What else we got? But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm tearing through that book right now, and I'm gonna start doing some more evergreen content. I'm still trying to decide if maybe I'll do that live, maybe I'll do it pre-recorded, but I want to put together like a nice, concise. Actually, I have the book on me right now. Let's see, do I? Nope. Yes, I do. So here's the book, Committee of 300. There's a chart in there somewhere that it shows like mapped out all the top groups and everything. But let's not spoil it now. I'm making like a big outline for this and everything. It's gonna be sick. So thanks for watching, y'all. Love you guys, and we'll see you guys soon. A lot of crazy stuff to come. I was getting ready to talk about this the other day before the whole Trump thing, so obviously this took a backseat to that for a bit, but right back on it. So again, love y'all. See you later. Peace.